to Positive Power with Michele Dionne. It's been a fantastic weekend here in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. The weather was beautiful and it was our Thanksgiving. So it was a great time to appreciate and be grateful and to take time to spend it with family and just do whatever makes your heart hum. You know, maybe that is with family, maybe that's not with family, maybe that's just hanging out, catching up on whatever your favorite series is on Netflix. The important thing is doing what makes you feel good. That's what is important. And so with us, we had family time and we had a lot of alone time. We did watch a lot of things on TV and got caught up on some work. So that was great because that's what makes me feel good. And, you know, here in our home, that's what we enjoy. So we had a really good weekend and I hope you did too. So moving forward, oh my goodness, there's lots of great things going on around the world. I came across some really neat articles to talk about today. One of them was in the Huffington Post in the good news section, and it was about two women, they're sisters, they're orphans, and they were raised in South Korea. They were separated from their family for whatever reason. They were both put into two separate orphanages. So they're in these orphanages. The orphanages were not related to each other at all. The last time they saw each other was actually in the 70s, and they both got adopted by American families. They were both brought to the States, and they were raised over 300 miles from each other. So they were both raised in these loving homes. They grew up. They knew they had a sister, did some research, couldn't find each other, and you know, as years ago, the records maybe weren't as detailed as they are today. Of course, you wouldn't have the computer sources and that sort of access to that kind of data. So they couldn't find each other. So life went on, you know, you carry on, you grow up, you have your own family. But, and I don't believe in coincidences, I think everything happens for a reason and we all have our own personal journey. Good, bad, or indifferent, everything that happens to you happens for a reason. And if anything happened any different in your life, you would not be where you are today, right? So these women, they both grow up, they get into the healthcare industry, they end up being in the same city, working in the same hospital, and let's go a step further, on the same floor of the same hospital. So the employees that are already there, as these two women are there working, start to say to each other, hey, aren't you from South Korea? I think she's from South Korea. You guys should meet. Maybe you're from the same village. So they get talking and they really hit it off. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. We have so much in common. We really hit it off. Blah, blah, blah. So as time goes by and they both don't have the background information to be able to know, you know, how deep their connection really is, they went the extra step and they got a DNA test, found out they're sisters. How amazing is that? You know, that they've reconnected that bond of being sisters. Their kids are going to know each other as cousins now. They've really recreated their family line. I mean, that is just an amazing, heartwarming story. And it just goes to show you that miracles happen every day. It's not just something that people pick out of the Bible or, you know, old stories. They happen every day on multiple different levels. And that is a really easy thing to appreciate and to be grateful for. Don't you agree? So that's a wonderful, wonderful story. Another really cool thing I wanted to talk to you about today is, you know, a lot of people talk in the news and whatnot about the 1% and the 99%. And there's a lot of truth to that, don't get me wrong. But I don't think we should paint everybody with the same brush. Now, a lot of stars are stepping out of the box, even though they're financially stable and their lives are set if they choose for them to be set. Because you can have a lot of money and be pretty miserable as well. But Matt Damon, he has got involved. I don't know if he actually started the organization or not, but he got involved in this organization. And if you go online, you can look it up. It's called water.org. And what they do is they go to third world countries where they have a lot of water, but the water is filthy dirty and it's not usable. It's not usable for bathing. It's not usable for drinking. It is just toxic or poisonous or whatever you want to call it. So what they do, because those people quite often, and I think of women because they're providing for their family, and maybe the men are out gathering or hunting or whatever it is that they're doing, and then the women are at home. They're looking after the home duties. They're looking after the children and whatnot, and quite often they will live right beside a body of water that they can't use because it's contaminated. So they have to walk miles and miles and miles and go get clean water and bring it back to look after their children, their family, cook, whatever. So Matt Damon, with this group called water.org, they have developed some sort of pills that they can take that contaminated water, they put the pills in, shake it, have some sort of process that they do, and it provides them with clean water. It totally takes that contaminated water and flips it over to clean water. And what a great life-changing thing that is. And they're making such an impact in so many different countries. It is just absolutely fantastic, and it warms my heart because he's not doing it because he has to. He's not doing it out of need. He's doing it because he's a compassionate human being that is stepping outside the box, even though, I'm sure he's pretty financially set, I would guess. And he's doing this for humanity. So I think that's absolutely awesome. And there's quite a few stars that are doing that now, and they're making a difference. And they're doing it without expectation. And see, that's the thing when you do things. You can't do it because you're expecting something. You don't do it because you want something to come back to you. You need to do it because it makes you feel good and because it's helping the receiver, making the receiver feel good. That's what it's all about. It's not about, chalking up some good karma or thinking that it makes you look good. That's like the worst thing. And, quite often online, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter. And quite often I will share videos that I find on YouTube about random acts of kindness, paying it forward. But I try to be very selective because sometimes you can tell that the people aren't genuine when they're doing it. So they're not doing it necessarily because they want to truly help that person. They're doing it because their buddy's standing across the street with a camera videotaping it. And I have some conflict there. So, it's just it's not true. You have to be true. Be true to yourself. Be true to the receiver. Do it because it makes you feel good. Do it because it's the right thing to do. There's a novel idea. Do it because it's the right thing to do. So anyways, hats off to Matt Damon. I think that's awesome. Also, one last little story to tell you here. If you go to a website called, and this is a new one I just found lately, sunnyskies.com, there's an interesting article on there about Illinois farmers who harvested 450 acres for a gentleman that was terminally ill in the hospital. Now, people have really mixed opinion on social media. Some people love it or they hate it. I happen to love it, but I also use it properly, I think. I'm very selective who I like as far as my groups. So if you pick your groups carefully that you follow and that you like, then your news feed will follow that. So anything that I don't support, I don't like the group, it doesn't come up in my news feed. So this gentleman, he's terminally ill, so I'm assuming he's in palliative care or something like that. And his cousin went on Facebook and put a post, "My cousin's sick, he's got 450 acres we need to farm. I need help. We have a plan, but we need people and tractors and combines and whatever it is that we need." So not only did people that knew him and didn't know him step up and help him do it, it was like a 2 or 3 week plan of what they were going to do, how they were going to do it. They did it in 10 hours. They got that much help. And what a blessing to the guy. There's like being sick. It's just such a horrible thing to have to deal with. It can be totally life-changing, regardless of if it's terminal or not. But it can be totally life-changing because your life stops the day you're sick. Your life stops when you walk in that hospital. I've seen so many videos on people that end up homeless because they got sick and they ended up in the hospital for 3-4 months. And then especially in the States, because they don't have free health care. So then they walk out of the hospital. Not only are they broke, they're in huge debt, and they're homeless, because who's going to finance their home for 3-4 months? So for this gentleman, that 450 acres, that was probably, going to pay his mortgage on his farm for the whole, like, summer or winter, next season, whatever. Like, that's pretty substantial. So him being sick, it's life-threatening, or it's terminal, whatever it was. And so he's already dealing with that. It's pretty common knowledge that stress adds to illness. So just the fact that he'd have the stress of how's his family going to eat and carry on with him not being available if they don't farm this land, and then these people come and they do this for him. They do it quick and efficiently, and it's a wonderful story. And that's the way the world's supposed to be, my friends. We're all supposed to stick up for each other, and we're all supposed to do what's right. Be friends in need. Give them a hand. Maybe if he's not your friend, maybe you don't even know him. Help him anyways, because like I said, it's the right thing to do. Thanks for listening in. It's going to be a great week. I hope you have a great week too. And we will talk to you with more good stories next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.